You are listening to the City Podcast. Unadulterated, non-politically correct, unfiltered, real talk. The city from the inside out. With your hosts, Chad Cranston and Steve Mealing.
Welcome to City Podcast. I'm Steve Mealing.
Yes, and my name is Chad Cranston. On this
Who's our guest this week, Chad?
Our guest today is Nick Simon. Why are we rushing through this? Are you high right now?
No. I wish I was, though.
It's been a mellow. It's Nick Simon. Today we have Nick Simon. We have author Nick Simon. How to avoid your future crazy ex.
I'd like to know about this.
Yeah, I read the book.
And what did you think?
It was awesome.
Thank you.
It was awesome. We are in a time, Steve can contest to this, where I'm going to say we're going to go to this level here. We're going to call it neo-feminism and masculinity. Yeah, neo-feminism. If you read the book, you know exactly what I'm talking about here.
What?
Neo-feminism and masculinity. There's a war going on between both sides.
I do address that a little bit in the book.
So masculine
men.
Well, that sounds like you're talking about what do they call it? Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity.
I don't know what that means. I'm not against it. I'm not against.
Just take a look at where males are portrayed in the media.
Yeah,
it's for the most part
it's
really negative.
Yes,
right. Yes. You've either got
funny.
No, you've either got the buffoons, the idiots. You've got the jocks who can't rub two brain cells together.
Yeah.
Right. Any way you try and push it, any type of intelligence is subjugated. Right. So, and then, on the flip side with women, if they're intelligent, then they're bitchy or they're the dits that, nothing is true to form. Nothing's actually as it is through the media. So you've got like a whole generation or generations growing up essentially who don't know what it is to be a woman and what it is to be a man. And then we get conflict, which is addressed in the book in certain ways.
Do you, I'm sure you know Dr. Jordan Peterson. You follow Dr.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Actually, no.
No, really?
No.
Well, you haven't even looked that up.
Yeah. Well, you got to go into Dr. Jordan Peterson.
So we just got demonetized because we said his name.
Yeah, we probably did. Yeah, probably. That's okay.
That's okay.
The information's got to get out anyways.
See why? Right? There it is.
So,
look him up.
The reason why I wanted to bring you on and talk about this is because there's an approach to like relationships that we don't really ever talked about, but it's tremendously one-sided, and especially when it comes to marriage, situations where people have to take that split and go their separate ways. Things can go well and things can go pretty nasty.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed through my experience is that it's very one-sided. I've seen it with my elders. I've seen it with friends all the time. And we never really talk about this as men.
Well,
women, like intellectual.
Quote unquote in the book, I say men don't talk. We don't talk to each other. We talk smack. We talk shit to each other. We generally don't talk to each other. We don't share information, which is one of the reasons why I wrote this. Men need to start talking to each other. They also need to understand that the system in place right now is very much geared towards women, and understandably so in certain circumstances. In the past, if men were abusive to women and the courts didn't pick it up, those women could end up dead or seriously hurt, right? So there had to be a reaction to that, and I completely understand that. But on the flip side, when you start talking about family courts and stuff like that, men don't have a leg to stand on. And the father's rights are a real issue. And the reason I started writing this book is because I made a joke literally to some of my friends because of the situation that I went through. And I said I should write a book on how to avoid your future crazy ex. And I was amazed at how many people came up and said, oh, I've got one for you. I've got a story for you. And then I started putting these things together. I'm like, what's going on here? This is more than just me knowing a few people. It's not that we live in a section of society where everybody's nuts or people aren't affluent or there's economic problems or whatever the case may be. But so many people from different races, different walks of life, different economic backgrounds were all telling me the same thing. And I call it the obligatory custody battle. Every situation that I researched came out in favor of the woman. No matter what the evidence was, it didn't matter.
So you mean like financially or getting the custody upper hand?
Absolutely. And I tell you what, if you've got money and your lawyer and or her lawyer knows you've got money, prepare to lose it. They will just bleed you dry.
So is that the law or is that the lawyers?
That's the lawyers.
Is the system set up that way?
No, the lawyers know the system and play it very well.
It's their job, right?
It's their job, right? So in my situation, when I was faced with a deposition in my custody dispute, my lawyer looked at me straight in the eye and said, no problem. A judge is going to see straight through this. You've got no problems here. I had so much evidence to prove what was going on.
You put your faith in it.
Absolutely. And, I thought we'd go into court, judge and look at it and throw it all out because it was nonsense. Yeah. And no, all it was, and we're going to meet in 2 months' time, and we're going to meet another 3 months' time. And every time I'm paying my lawyer, every time I'm phoning him, I'm paying this guy stupid amounts of money, and nothing's actually getting done until you finally get to the hearing, by which time the judge had already made up her mind. She'd got the paperwork, I think the Friday before the court case or something, so she didn't really have a chance to read it or something like that. And her decision was made. I was the bad deadbeat father, and she was the wonderful mother, and everything was believed. My lawyer got up second to speak, and he's mumbling. He's like, but didn't you see the pictures and the evidence of the abuse and whatever else? And the judge's like, no, I believed her. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, wow.
That was a female judge.
Female judge, yeah.
No, one thing I don't want to do, and I hope all our female listeners and our male listeners.
Hold on, what year was this too? More important.
This is a few years ago.
Yeah. What, 5 years ago?
Around 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, it's recent.
Yeah, so like I'm saying, I don't want anybody to get the notion that we're trying to bash women and we're
not
pro
at all.
men. This is not a thing about bashing women or pro men or vice versa. I think this goes on both sides. Men do atrocious things.
Absolutely.
And women do atrocious things.
You can't say that women do atrocious things, though, because that's not how the system works.
Well,
Who wants to hear that?
Nobody wants to hear that.
I tell you what.
At some point, we have to be realistic.
What?
I don't know.
No, I'm not.
You know what I mean?
All I'm saying is, really, in all honesty, you can't say it because people don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear it.
As I say in the book,
can't be a fact or can't be. It doesn't exist, right?
First of all, I completely agree with you, Chad. This is not about denigrating women in any way, shape, or form. Absolutely not. The only thing I can write about is what has been communicated to me or what I've experienced. Right? Yeah. I've got some stories in here about what some exes, some men have done to their women, and it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.
So in your book, it's pretty well balanced.
Most of the stories come from a male perspective because that's what's been communicated to me.
Male, right?
Yes, and that
we are believing there's only two genders in this conversation. We're going to suspend belief.
We just got demonetized.
I tell you what, and you can't make this up. It didn't make it into the book, but as we were going to final edits and stuff like that, I got approached by a guy. Said, "I've got a story for you," and I said, "Okay, the person, I have to interview them for it to get in the book. I can't just go on your hearsay." And anyway, it was a same-sex couple and a double homicide. This was the story. I can't go into details, obviously, but I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! I need to interview this guy. I need to know how you've got a double homicide in the same-sex couple. What happened there?" I've still not found out the gruesome details. Maybe that's for the second book. I don't know. But no, at the end of the day, I do ask the question. Some people have the capacity to drive each other crazy.
Absolutely.
Right? And some people aren't compatible, that's fair enough. But I do look into the root causes of what can cause mental illness. And this is a real thing in our society, both male and female. But I also look into things like, why are females more susceptible to become more mentally ill? Well, females are more likely to be sexually abused.
Hold on. Is this researched?
I researched it.
Okay.
I wanted to know why, because it would be unfair of me to go, oh God, all these crazy exes, No, that would be unfair. I had to have an understanding of why. I do look into the socialization, I look into the media, I look into, what about the pharmaceuticals that are affecting us on a daily basis? Like our species is constantly under attack from and medicated, right? So could these factors result in crazy ex situations? Could it also be that women grow up with a certain expectation of how men should be and then get there and men just don't live up to it, and they're like, what's that all about?
What society's pushed on in the whole Prince Charming.
It's nonsense.
Well,
right?
Let's be honest, you can go out and be Prince Charming.
Yeah.
I can go out and rake myself up and as handsome as I'm going to get, if that's possible, and be the nicest guy ever, the whole romance thing. And let's be honest, within a week, say it does attract a female and it does work to that that way, she's going to be bored and looking the other way right away. Especially in today's society where, from my experiences, you can only be so nice before worse than and you take advantage of, right? But that's what's been shoved down our throats. I know from my age and how I've grown up, from the 80s and 90s movies, yes, some women were kind of pitched in a like post-80s Porky's mentality where they're dumb, ditzy, and bodacious women. Yeah. And that's all they're good for. And then you've got the flip side where it's like, remember the movie 9 to 5? Right. The fact that it was actually a movie and it was a movement, like, you know, it's crazy because that's not how my brain thinks. I don't think it's...
But yeah, we still live in a society where women are paid less for the same jobs as men, right? So
I don't know. What are we talking about for stats on that? Because I've heard many podcasts about that from women that are actually involved in studies. And like, I'm not going to go any cool people because I don't have them handy. Right. We're not going to hit pause and I'm not going to just search the net to bring up.
Yeah.
Because I think that we live in a world and a time where everybody has a computer and they can search.
Look for themselves. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can go look for whatever you want to find, you will find. And especially viewpoint. Say your viewpoint, you know, it's how you word it. Maybe shift your words around and like look at both sides. But apparently, there's a lot of misinformation on that as well.
Right. I mean? Yeah.
But having that said, like, you know, is that really how we grew up? What we think? We've been trained to think what a woman wants. Right. You know, is that exactly what a woman wants?
Well, that's where an open dialogue has to happen, right? Yeah, like my philosophy is just be honest, just tell the truth, cut to the chase, right? I mean that's in general life. I'm not don't be stupidly truthful, like, you know, but but I'm just, you know, be straight up with people, like don't, be honest. Be honest in a certain percentage. You know, if you're the kind of guy that goes and rents a Ferrari for the weekends to try and pick up chicks, well, you know, and I say this, you can't get mad if the girl gets mad at you, and don't start lumping women who men have duped into the crazy category, because that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about people who have done things that are outside the confines of a normal society, as in that's not normal, that's not right, and have gotten away with it. There's a few case studies in here that are frightening. Right? Of how far frightening of how far down the rabbit hole shit can go. Yeah. Right?
That's modern day Instagram, right? Most people.
I mean,
in real life they're not.
Yeah, I mean, and I address that as well, the social media aspect of things. I mean, people...
Let's go chapter by chapter.
Yeah, they're posting a good life.
That's a good idea. So
for an outline.
We'll go. I won't be able to go through all of them, but I think we can go through the key ones, because some of them are quite obvious already. Yeah, people can read, they'll know. Yeah. They'll get it because they've seen that from high school probably to... Right. But there's a glitch inside the matrix.
That's where I actually look into mental health. I did a fair bit of research on it, and I actually edited out a lot of stuff, because I didn't want this book to become like a scientific book. I mean, there's a lot of sort of humor in it. There's a lot of social commentary in it. And ultimately, if someone's really interested, go and research it yourself and get your own take on it, right? Yeah, don't take my word for it. Look, yeah, all right. So I give some stats and what have you, but I look into the fact that mental illness is a very, very real thing in our society, 100%. Right? And should be addressed. Now, where that mental illness comes from, whether it's through, you know, environment, pharmaceuticals, or toxins, or you know,
toxic family life.
Yeah, media. Yeah, like who knows? Like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree a lot of times, and if someone doesn't address their own toxicity with regards to their own family dynamic, chances are they're doomed to repeat it. Right? Which is what I have seen in a number of these cases. All you have to do is look at her mother.
That was a good one too.
Yeah, but one of the chapters.
One of the last chapters. I think it might be the last or second.
No,
it's chapter 9.
Chapter 9, yeah.
That was that one. I think is something that I've been told since I was a kid, to always look at her mother. Yeah, I've always been told to do the exact same thing. Are you allowed to tell any kind of stories to get people aware of how deep things can go? And I mean, there's a lot. I don't even know how to really say it, man, to be honest with you, but there's a lot of similarities, one, but like there's a lot of dark deepness that goes into what's happening. Once you start reading it, your mind starts going on a spin because you put yourself in that situation.
Right.
If you've ever been in a situation with a crazy act before, somewhere along the lines, mental abuse, physical abuse, obviously, and then you get blamed for things that never happened all along the lines. But then there's a lot of stories like that are in this book that go really, really way too far.
Yeah.
On those aspects of like trying to win whatever the
at whatever cost. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my situation, I don't want to go too much into it. It's spoken about in the book. I didn't see the final insanity coming. It was such a slow progression into the depths of insanity that once you're in it, you don't see it because you're in it, right? You're just in it, and it's only when you take a step back and like when I write things down, it's like this happened. I'm like, wow, I lived that. I'm still alive. You know what I mean?
More importantly,
right? I'm still alive. It was crazy, and that's why I had to come up with this book. But then when I saw some other, there's a case study with John. I mean, wow. There's a guy. It's frightening that what happened.
Could have ended his life.
Yeah.
Overnight.
Right.
For nothing.
For nothing.
Again, referring to the book. People listening haven't, so saying John and not giving examples like an example.
Okay.
You can brief it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna have to read the book. There's so much in the book.
Yeah, you're gonna have to read
one story.
Yeah. I don't want
this. We tell stories to give context.
Right.
Otherwise, really, if I'm listening to this, to
Yeah.
be honest with you, I'm bored already because you guys are having inside talk.
Right.
Right. So the whole point in you coming on here is to like share part of your book, share scenarios. We're going to comment. We're going to interact.
Right.
You know what I mean? No one's not going to buy the book just
Right.
because they heard something on the podcast. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
We're not going to divulge all true names.
No. Well, there's in the book, no true names are used because.
And I wanted to comment on one thing.
Yeah.
Talking about retention in DNA. So that can be passed. Things can be passed down.
Absolutely.
Through DNA, from mother to daughter, just like from
grandmother to daughter.
Yeah.
Great grandmother
or
to mother.
Even father to son.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daughter as well. They're not exclusionary to those
can you go
specific
father to daughter?
genders that we're sticking to.
Yeah. Can you go father to daughter?
Yeah, because it's passed down.
The gene of
It's
XY.
cellular, right?
Yeah. So it's cellular memory essentially, isn't it? Yeah.
Which is proving to be more and more.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't speak to. John's ex's family, but what I do know is that his ex was one of the most vindictive people that I've ever heard of. I'll just give you an example. She trapped him into a legal situation and played the courts for a fiddle, basically, and called it.
Played by the rules.
Oh no! She used the court system. It's called vexatious litigation. When you bring litigation against people, you use the rules of the court, not for justice, but to hurt
So
another.
the court's time,
exactly.
So therefore, it is legal.
But she called up John right before Christmas and said, "Tell your mother Happy Christmas because you're going to be in jail for it because she trapped him in a situation." Right. Good night. Right. I mean, the impact of what she did to his life over a 10-year period was a little bit less than 10 years was absolutely frightening. Where a woman basically decided, if I'm not going to have you, no one's going to have you, and you're going to pay for it every single day of your life. And I'm going to do everything in my power to ruin your life.
Sounds like something a crazy guy would say to a girl. Am I mistaken? Because I'm thinking, she can't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A movie, a theater play.
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways. And I said that in the book. It goes both ways.
Is it more shocking because it's a female saying it?
I don't think so.
It's just the nature of it.
I think that what
you've had this before, Steve, because you told me stories.
Oh, no, I'm not discrediting or I have my times. I could probably write a book like that. Then again, women that have dated me probably could write a book. Right.
What shocked me was the length that certain individuals were willing to go to impress upon somebody else their view of reality. Yeah. Right. At some point in time, you got to think like, don't you want to get on with your own life and sort yourself out? But sometimes there's a glitch in the matrix, and that individual is incapable of stopping themselves. So the whole point of this book is you've got to look at the warning signs and pay attention early on in a relationship. Or when you're dating somebody or what have you, you've got to pay attention to what these people are actually doing because there are generic warning signs. And every man that I interviewed pretty much said the same thing and gave the same clues.
Well, it's just like if a woman cheats or if a guy cheats, keeping it open here.
He's probably going to do it again.
Well, more importantly, how many times have you heard your friend who's been in this situation or friends have said, fuck, like I should have seen it. Like looking back, it's clear to me now.
Yeah.
Like why was I was convincing myself.
Yeah.
It's like when you go in the, what do they call it? The no talk zone. In a relationship, things are a bit rocky or someone pulls back. You're supposed to do not call that person, do not contact that person, right? For various reasons. It's just that's how it goes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, part of the process of going through that is you try and talk yourself into reasons why you should be contacted.
Right.
And so you justify the smallest things and I gotta call, right? Same thing, you're making excuses for scenarios.
Right.
And when you look back, you kind of spot them, like, and you're just like, oh, fuck, how did I not do that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What do you think it's with men that we feel we need to cure and be therapists, psychologists, and when we call like the so-called breadwinner, the food getter, whatever those
the hunter-gatherer.
What is it with men that in those type of situations see the red flags for sure? They know them there. They've talked about them, but they brush them off to the side.
Well, this is. I mean, I address this in the book. I mean, there's some situations where men that I interviewed were physically abused by women, but is it there's some sort of male delusional state where just because if a woman hits you, then it doesn't really matter. You laugh it off or what have you. But physical assault is physical assault. And it's nothing to do with how tough you are or whatever else. If someone is laying their hand on you, then there's an issue and there's a problem there, right? With the person which is being violent, and it's only going to get worse. The violent person or the person who can't control their actions doesn't suddenly stop one day. It comes to a head. Whether the police are the ones who come in and sort it out for you, it will come to a head. Whether someone goes to hospital, someone goes to jail, it will come to a head. It has to, because of the nature of that individual. So I address that in the book. If a woman's hitting a man, you're not being weak by saying I'm not going to accept that, or walking away, or saying I'm not going to have you hitting me. It's just smart. Someone's hitting you. What are you waiting for? To start throwing objects? To start stabbing you? Like what? Where does it have to go?
If you bring physicality into a relationship, that's like it only gets worse from that.
Thank you.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yes, you crack in the glass, you fall through that.
Yeah. Right. So and it goes both ways. Like if a guy is physical with a woman, it's going to keep going. Right. You just walk. Right, and that's the whole thing, is that you've got to get out of a situation before it gets to a point where you're in court spending tens of thousands of dollars, where kids are involved, where people are getting physically hurt, where it gets out of control.
So
because
it's personal responsibility almost.
Yeah, and I think that's where it comes down to with people in general, having the ability to just have an open discourse with each other and be straight up with each other, right? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, in John's case, he was very honest with his ex and said, that they were together, and he said, I don't want to marry you. I'll look after the child, but I don't want to marry you. Which is fair enough. It's honest. And then, enter the psycho music. You know what I mean? Right? And it just went pear-shaped from there on in. But then again, and this is something, speaking to younger men, and I said this, I once gave some advice to a friend of mine, and he was asking me, he had 2 or 3 girls that he was looking at, they liked him, whatever else. He said, which one's the best? And I said, okay, straight up, if you're getting involved in a sexual relationship with somebody, contraceptives can fail. The chances are at some point in time, that woman could have your child. So the litmus test in any situation of relationship is like, okay, you're having a sexual relationship. Could you see that woman be the mother of your child? If the answer is no, absolutely not, you should probably stop sleeping with her, right? And be with someone that you actually really love and really care for and respect, and vice versa. If the answer is for relationship, but if the answer is I really could see her being my child, well, take your chances and off you go, right? So, but if you don't want to have children with someone, there is a chance they could, or you don't know of someone, the women who try and get pregnant to trap a man. This has happened. Right? This has happened.
Not just to sports,
right?
athletes, or to rock stars. It happens.
Everyday man.
Right? If you got a good job and you know, well put together, I've seen it a lot of times where girls have just basically trapped, and I've seen it the other way too. I've seen some absolute flipping lemons get their hands on some decent women, and I don't. All I can surmise is that they're fantastic cooks and amazing in bed, because what these women see in these men is, I don't know. Right, or whatever. Yeah, you never know, right?
Let's be honest here. Well, that's pretty creative, but it's very deceptive.
Right.
That to me is like a crazy person.
Yeah, it goes both ways, right? And
that's why you always bring your own.
Yeah, I'm.
That's a good choice.
Plus,
so you have something called technology.
Oh, invasion of the technology snatchers.
Invasion of the technology snatchers.
Well, this is something that, I mean, especially when we were growing up, we didn't have this kind of complication, right? I mean,
so the phone rang, you were home or you weren't.
Right.
Guess what? And someone could leave a voice message on a tape recorder.
Right.
Everybody in the house could hear when you played back.
So right now, I mean, I hear about this stuff, and you know, the Instagram and the everyone, was it dick pics and all this flipping stupidness these kids are doing these days. And look, each to their own. But all I'm saying is, when you start recording stuff, other people can and will get access to that if they want to hurt you. And it seems like we have a generation out there that just has absolutely no awareness
of shame,
right? Of potential repercussions for their actions, and they seem to be living in a moment and not thinking about the future.
But right? It's also kind of been normalized too. You're looking at social media as a whole. Social media as a whole has united people, made the world smaller, but it's also made secrets almost impossible to keep. And it's
also made people unable, it seems, to communicate with each other.
Well, that's the step I was going to bring down the road. But you've got, as an example, you went from Paris Hilton to a Kim Kardashian.
Right.
When Kardashian was a lackey for Paris Hilton, I've been told. But as soon as Kim Kardashian went viral with her, I could be skipping steps. I'm not trying to say this.
You don't have to go too far.
Did a video with a certain individual, and it went viral, and it turned someone into a megastar. So several of those things has happened to the point where now making a homemade porno is
considered normal and okay.
Yeah, it's normalized. It's not shameful whatsoever.
Well, I remember a number of years ago I made a joke. I can't remember whatever pop star was on, you know, and you only have to look at. And I don't. Every generation says, "Oh, music in my day was better, this and that." But you know, Whitney Houston gone, Michael Jackson gone, Prince gone, all of these, George Michael gone, all of these fantastic singers,
vocal artists,
people who could actually sing, who could actually sing, or artists who could actually perform with a musical instrument. This is all gone. And I said, like, it's getting ridiculous now. You look at these young girls and whatever. I said, why don't they just cut to the chase, take your clothes off and make porn videos? And now they actually are. I mean, it really is getting to the point. It really is.
I've seen videos online, obviously online, renting the DVD, that are
not going to Rick's.
I've seen women that are just like blown away that they're so attractive in every which way.
Yeah.
That it was seen as the last stop.
Yeah.
That would be doing something like that. For example, growing up, there was always the joke as a father's only goal in life is to make sure to keep his daughter off the pole.
No way. Right. Yeah.
That's an old saying. Your only job as a father is to keep your daughter off the pole. Well, guess what? Now, a 20-year-old girl being a stripper, that's what on the pole means, by the way, for those who don't get it, is not considered to be bottom of the barrel kind of a job.
Right.
It's seen as
a moneymaker.
Right.
And it's seen as capitalize on now. And guess what? I'll make some porn on the side. Yeah, it's full cloud. Because guess what? I'm going to be working in strip club. All the attention's going to be on me. And the rap music is the number one pop music right now. And what's one of the
frequency?
Well, this is a
that's the full frequency.
This is a major problem, right? I mean, you've got the rap. It's not rap. It's not hip hop. I don't know what I mean, what are some of these guys doing?
According to you,
according to anyone with
just in case you
two functioning eardrums.
Yeah, with a British accent too, so it makes you even less of an expert on it. Because I listened to hip hop. British hip hop in the 90s. The only thing good about it was the beat in the background.
No, British hip hop was
pitch up and play.
Actually, have you heard of a guy called Akala?
Sorry?
Akala. Check out a guy called Akala, British rap. Like,
so he was around in the...
No. He's been around for the last sort of 10 years or so. No, I grew up
I'm
with...
not talking about grime.
No. I'm talking about real hip hop. Akala, check him out. He's amazing. But I grew up in Public Enemy and all the rest of it, and EPMD and then Master Race and all these guys, whatever. But, Digital Underground, loved hip hop. Now it seems like you've got guys who can't really rap and they can't really sing. They do something in between, but the beats are flipping amazing. I've got to give the production value of hip hop now is unbelievable, right? But the misogyny that is spouted through hip hop right now,
it's disgusting,
is unbelievable.
If you actually listen to some of their songs,
the dehumanization of women, right?
The guy that just got out of jail there, the funny looking guy there, Black, whatever his name is.
Wow, now you're racist too.
Well, that's his name. I can't remember what his name is. Kodak Black.
There you go.
He consistently mentions in his songs about beating up women, raping women, giving them,
kidding me?
Dude, giving them lean or whatever it is they drink to pass them out, to drug them out. And they talk about gets proper. All of them are talking about it.
Okay.
That's crazy.
All of them are talking about.
Now that's crazy. Yeah.
The mouth when she passes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hip hop is the new. No, not on the podcast. I was saying hip hop. Hip hop is the new pop music.
Yeah.
It's new rock and roll.
So when you have a music award show, which has been several in the past year, right? Everybody gets together. The majority of the larger artists, this music's called hip hop. Right?
Yeah.
So it's also a place where it takes place. They're pushing a certain
agenda. For sure. Yeah.
The Me Too movement. Right?
Yeah.
So they're on stage and everyone's, what do they call it when you're going after a certain set? So basically they're out there.
With an agenda?
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called exactly for the life of me right now. Anyways, point in case is this. They're up there preaching the whole Me Too movement, which I believe fully in. And you turn around and look to the crowd, and you've got the messages being sent out by over 3/4 of the crowd, which everybody's supposed to be looking up to, is what we just talked about. So,
well, here's a prime example. You've got a situation where you've got two stars that kids are looking up to in Rihanna and Chris Brown. Right? Chris Brown is actually pretty talented, but
it's not very relevant.
But what I'm saying is that guy beat up a woman and was on the trail doing his concerts where was the reaction from the public? Because the music company have got to get their dollars back. I get that. I don't agree with it. He's an investment. But where was the reaction from other men? Where was the reaction from women about what a flipping scumbag that was? Yep. Right? And he doesn't care. The other day I saw he beat up some guy or something, and he was arrested, and his Twitter or quote or something, because he's going back to his concert for the next day, same shit, different day. Where are the repercussions in that? Like, so what you're basically saying is, if you've got enough money, right, and you've got enough people that are big enough backing you, you can do what you want.
It's a mixed message across the board, right?
And it's madness,
which also causes division.
Right.
Creating two camps with that.
So do you feel that in relationships, a lot of people are looking at that right now? Is it a younger thing? Because I don't know. Our generation is really too focused on the physical aspect of the relationship, where somebody's getting punched out, pay your money, get out of court, no charges.
The book addresses different stages of a relationship, right? So obviously, if you're younger and you're in your 20s and whatever else you're just dating, there are going to be certain warning signs to look out for with regards to if someone has the potential to become crazy. Obviously, if you sometimes it takes you being married to someone to understand that something's wrong, right? And sometimes it's after the kids come along, and then you have to give up as well. It's hard for women. Postpartum depression is a real thing, right? So if people don't address certain situations, and I'm not one to advocate pharmaceuticals and medicate people. I don't believe in that. I do believe that you can heal yourself if there are mental illnesses for a variety of reasons.
Honestly, this sounds crazy. What's your religion? Are you and Tom Cruise hanging out together?
No, not at all.
So you're not a Scientologist?
Not at all, no.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
You're saying that no medication.
No, I didn't say no. I didn't say no medication.
Total Scientologist.
Right? No, I didn't say no medication. Right? If you're going in for surgery, give me the strongest and baddest thing you've got, right? But I'm saying if your default is to go down and pop some pills that
without running out,
right, without checking out other things firstly, then we've got a problem, because
check your endocrine systems,
right. Are you drinking enough water? You know what I mean?
Very simple.
Simple things. Is your body alkaline or acidic? Like simple things, right?
So the word I was looking for before was virtual signaling.
Virtual signaling.
Whatever the hot topic is, everyone jumps on stage.
Yeah.
Right.
But so the one thing that I really wanted to talk about, because you talked about studies and research, it's the one chapter about gut feeling. And this is one that I'm super interested in.
I got a feeling about this. Is that what it's called?
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
Scientific analysis of the enteric nervous
nervous system
and breakdown of the gut instinct.
Yeah.
So for guys, I'm a guy. I'm one of two
genders.
Yeah, I'm one of two
For now,
genders.
yeah.
I'm in the male.
There is another one though.
I don't know. Anyways. So what is it? Okay, let's go to that next podcast. I know. I'm just going to go with science on this one and say I'm one of two genders.
Okay.
So with that said, I like to apply rationale, and I like to hit pause sometimes and soak in what's happened and assess it from my own experiences in life, and try and take the emotion out of things and just look at it logically. I guess that's the word that I'm trying to find. Logic. And when I do so, I also have to compete with this other thing called my gut feeling. And sometimes when I go against my gut feeling, which is 50% of the time, I get burnt probably about 50% of the time.
Right.
I just feel like a total dickwad.
Right.
So what's the sign? Like what's the back? Because a lot of guys have like my gut feelings is like, fuck, I shouldn't.
Gut. Well,
I mean, I can't quote the exact number, but there's a network of neurons in our stomach and esophagus lining that is like the brains. The esophagus and the stomach is an autonomous system designed to collect information and then react to it. It is literally called a second brain, right? It functions. It's a second brain. It's supposed to be three brains: the heart brain, the mind, the head brain, and then the stomach brain.
No, is this scientific? Or
This is not yoga.
Okay,
This is scientific.
Okay.
It's provable. There is a neurons. There is a neuron system within that. That's why you feel things in the gut.
Yeah.
You literally feel things in the gut. You don't feel it in your head. Your head brain is there to process information and deal with it rationally. Your heart brain feels things. Your gut is instinct. Your gut is what keeps you safe. That's what keeps the animal alive.
That's what's been passed down.
Right, but if you look, and I try and address this as well, we as a society are constantly trained not to trust our gut. Right? We're told absolute nonsense from the day that we come to the planet, right? About, think about what we tell children with fairy tales. Right? It's nonsense.
Those are, but at the same time, fairy tales are more designed and passed down from generation to generation to warn people of.
Fair dues, but we have that system built into us. This is a pretty amazing computer body, right? That is designed pretty well to navigate this experience, this realm, whatever.
Computer.
Yeah, right?
Well, we are.
Yeah.
Whether we're in a matrix or we're in
a holographic universe, who knows?
I believe in holographic thing.
Yeah.
So do you.
That's one thing I'm dying to find out how it's designed.
Well, let's stick to the gut feel. My gut feeling says we should figure out what's going on with the gut feeling.
Very important.
Yeah.
That was one of the best things I've learned all year, I think, is that to understand that. What it is.
Is also to make
a lot more sense. So if you're feeding your gut crap, right? I'm not going to mention any big fast food companies, but if you're feeding yourself crap, then what's going to happen to the rest of your body and how you perceive the reality around you, right? If you're eating healthily and you're keeping that autonomous system in a good state, it's going to be clearer in its perception of the reality around it.
It'll also help with your moods and everything else, right? So maybe that is the central, that is the brain center.
It's a nervous system, mate. Yeah.
So
a lot of people don't follow it though.
Have you got any examples of like people having gut feelings or in your book?
I've got some examples of people not following their gut instincts and me would be one of them. As I said, I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, I mean, there's a chapter called "It Takes One to Argue," and I guess you can infer from that you know what we're dealing with. Arguing is a key thing, and I knew that something was wrong after I'm not talking about disagreements, I'm talking after the first or second really serious argument where certain things were said and there was a certain look in her eye. I'm like, that's not normal.
That's what you were thinking?
No, that's what I was feeling.
Okay.
I was thinking, well, you're still young and you don't really know, like, hey, but my gut feeling was, I should walk. And that happened a few times where I'm like, and I did try to walk, and then there's the tears, no, come back, I'll change, I'm sorry, right? And and then the heads, well, okay, I'm sure but my gut was like, you should walk here, right? And I didn't.
So
I didn't listen to my gut. Fast forward.
Process is one thing, your heart processes emotion,
right?
And your brain talks you into...
Your brain deals with the logic, man. It deals with facts, the so-called facts. Right, so if the so-called facts have been manipulated from every different angle, from the media to upbringing to whatever, how do you know what the facts are? Your gut is.
Or a pretty girl.
Yeah.
A pretty girl trying to convince you how what she's doing is not crazy.
I mean, there's one situation where a guy went through some stuff, and I just asked him, I was straight up with him. I said, she was hot, right? And his response, she was so hot because. He put up with it. Yeah. And I talk about this as well, is that, and it goes back to the social media aspect, that people are living their lives, or they're posting their lives, they're living their lives outside themselves. Like, so who cares if your girlfriend or your boyfriend's really hot, if behind closed doors they're really ugly? You know what I mean? And they're treating you like shit. Who cares? But that's people's insecurity, where they want someone else to think that their life is something that it's not. What's the point in someone else thinking anything about your life if your life is crap? Right? If your life is great, then that will just manifest through you, and you'll glow and you'll be happy, right? And people go, hey, what's that guy doing? How comes he's so happy? Or vice versa, right?
You're gonna be happy if you aren't hung up on trying to convince everybody else that you're happy.
Well, this is
too busy being happy. How about that?
Right.
It's like living that trendy phrase. I almost cursed it. Trendy phrase. If I hear it one more time, what's up? Oh man, just living my best life.
Living the dream.
Living my best life.
Right.
That's the thing to say right now. And it's like,
living my best life.
I've seen that on Instagram or all the time. I'm not on Facebook or anything like that.
Right.
So
is that alluding to the failed attempts at reincarnation beforehand? Like, what is that saying?
I understand it fully. But how about this? If you're really busy having an awesome life,
you're not posting it out.
No, you're just having the awesome life. Yeah.
This is what you do.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
It's what I do.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much that I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to turn down the awesome.
Yeah.
Like I do for podcasts. Let you shine. Because you know what? I'm busy living my best life.
So how does technology snatches come into play in a relationship? Like, as you're talking about, like,
a lot of the time you see people in the street and they're sitting there having coffee, and one's on the phone, and then one's trying to communicate, and there's nothing. I witnessed this a few weeks ago. I was having dinner with my wife, and there was a young couple sitting across the aisle, and both of them were on their phones. And I looked over and I'm like, okay, maybe a text came through and one had to answer it. You never know. And I looked over again. They're both enjoying a beverage, after their meal. They weren't talking to each other. They were texting on their phones. I'm like, what was the point in actually coming out to have a meal together? This makes no sense to me.
They're texting each other.
Were they mute?
But even so, like, where's the emotion of the texting? Like, where's the emotion? Where's the
connection?
The connection between both of you. You're still
right
between a Wi-Fi connection to communicate with the next person that's literally right beside
right in front of you. Yeah,
that you can look in the eye and say, like, "Yo, so how was your day?" I don't know.
That's generational too. A lot of
but our generation is doing it too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's technology nowadays.
There's a reason why we're all doing it, and there's a few videos online. Guys from Facebook have confessed that we're with Facebook, no longer are, and they were part of the original architecture. Is the hits that you get from, not endorphins, but it's the other one.
Serotonin levels?
Serotonin, whatever technical scientific term inserted there after someone researches this. That's what you become addicted to. The rush. The rush of getting a like or getting a response, just like the same as you're going to get like from a like on Instagram.
So what does that come down to? Insecurity, right? You need someone else to validate your existence.
So you need to constantly. Have you ever had it? Put it this way, from my understanding of it, have you ever had a night when you're single, you've gone out and it seems like you can do nothing wrong?
Yeah.
And you're getting, as a guy,
you're
getting the attention, all the attention in the world from every woman that's around. Not every woman, but you know what I'm saying. You're getting lots of attention. Yeah. It's just like your words are magic.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's laughing, and you're the guy. You're the man that night.
Yeah.
And you just get home and you're just like, that was amazing. So you go out as many nights as you can afterwards because you're looking for the same
feeling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I could see that being associated with that as well. You're being accepted constantly by strangers you don't even know. They think you're awesome.
Yeah, having
button they're pressing on their phone that's a heart or a thumb up.
Well, I mean,
but
you know, I see guys.
You get from it, right?
I'm on LinkedIn, which to me is Facebook for adults, and it's just I see people like I want to join your LinkedIn group, and it's just like, why? Like, what possible benefit to you is it to join my LinkedIn group? Like, we're not even in the same fields and professions. Is that you see some people in my LinkedIn group who are kind of cool and you want to be a part of that group? How does this work? Are you going to get a job offer through it? How are you going to benefit from it? And, you know, I get, you know, LinkedIn hits you up every now and then, like, do you know such and such? Do you know such and such? Yeah. I don't need them to be on my LinkedIn group. If I wanted to talk to them, I could just pick up the phone and call them. And if I'm not picking up the phone and calling, it's probably because we're not in a situation where we're talking anyway. So what's the big deal, right? So
it's kind of the old saying of like, there's like the one person who's super popular out in a scene, let's say a scene, right? Rock music scene, hip hop scene, whatever it is. When you're younger, you meet loads of people. The older you are, the older you get, the less you just want to talk shit with everybody.
Your bullshit meter runs out,
so
basically.
It's like, wow, man, you're friends with everyone. It's just like, well, actually, no, I'm not friends with everyone.
I just know a lot of people.
Right? And then you get down to my friends are, like, you know, you're a part of my friend group. You're part of the smaller group.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think with that comes a lot of drama, right? And in your book, you had something about the drama.
Oh, the soap opera. Well, yeah, this is where individuals... exactly. Either manufacture the drama,
which is AKA crisis.
Yeah. It's called histrionics, essentially, right? So you're manufacturing drama, or everything is dramatic to get attention, right? And that can be worrying because
scary.
Certain people, you know, there's one situation where a guy here, his ex basically made up a story to get a reaction from him. You know, fast forward a number of years, she's still making up stories. And now a kid's involved, and welcome to the obligatory court battle and whatever else. And if someone is capable of lying easily, you got problems, right? You got a lot of problems, right? So I talk about the drama. If someone's always got drama going on in their lives, they're more than likely attracting it to themselves for some reason.
Some men are actually very attracted to that, though.
Good luck to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck to him. No, not at all.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
A lot of energy.
Any guys that are in that situation that you've spoken to or interviewed for the book, do any of them fall back to their gut feeling of knowing better?
There are some examples of people who had situations happen and went, yeah, I'll see you later, mate. I'm gone, right? And they trusted their gut and they got out of the way.
So that's a victory.
Yeah. And you've got to look at, like I say this in the book as well, is that when you're in a situation, you very rarely see it, right? So I spoke to someone about the book, and his first response was, oh my God, and he turned to his girl and said, I got to get this for such and such. And I'm just laughing on the inside thinking, you should read it too. Right? I'm just saying, I think this guy should read this. But there we go. But he's not seeing what I'm seeing. I'm seeing all the red flags and the warning signs, and he's just not seeing it because he's in it. Yeah. Right? But there we go. But you know what? And I'd advise anyone, if you see a friend who's in a situation, and this is for men or women, if you see a friend and they're not seeing it, give them the book. Just say, read this and say, look, it's kind of funny, because it is kind of funny. I have to put humor into it because there's some dark stuff in there. There's some accounts of what's happened, and your jaw's going to hit the ground. And you're going to go, what the fuck did I just read? Like, no human being would do that to their own child or whatever else. And yeah, they do.
Talk to a cop, they can tell you.
Right?
Story, right?
Yeah.
So another chapter you had was leading from the drama, which usually followed by the arguments. So does it really only take one to argue?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Well, you know, it's clearly a play on words, but
Because again, it seems like you're blaming one side and not the other.
No. There are some people that, I spoke to many men about this. There are some people that it didn't matter what they did. One person in that relationship was determined to argue and have conflict, and
I've been in those,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter. I'm talking about the guys that are so chill, and they're just not built that way. They're not arguing people. They're just relaxed, real chill guys. And their ex was like, yeah, I'm gonna argue with you. My ex was one of those. Like, it didn't matter when she decided there was gonna be an argument. There was gonna be an argument. If I walked away and said I don't want to argue, there was still an argument.
She'd follow you.
Oh yeah. Like, and if I left the household and came back, the argument was waiting for me, and it was now 10 times
more points.
Yeah. Right? So that's what I'm saying. It takes one to argue, and if you're arguing back and forth, then that's your reality. And anyone who's in a relationship where arguing is a constant, no, it's not normal. No, it's not normal. Sometimes, you can resolve things through conflict, and people are going to disagree, but no, it's not normal. I'm not talking about disagreements. I'm talking about where someone is hitting below the belt, and we're talking someone's they're trying to emasculate you. Someone's saying the most vile and disgusting things to you to hurt you, and knowing that they're doing that. That level of vindictiveness is not normal. That person is projecting something very, very negative onto you, and you need and you need to walk. Where that anger comes from, that's for psychologists or psychiatrists to figure out.
Some form of therapy should be recommended,
right? But telling if you tell someone of that ilk who likes to argue, I think you should see someone. Welcome to the escalation of said argument.
Right? It's like calling a woman crazy.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Just walk away. Say, listen, I don't think this is working out.
Maybe, so are you serious about walking away, or do you mean running?
Run in some situations. I mean, if anyone, male or female, is saying hurtful or disgusting things, it's time to walk. Because whatever happens, say for example you patch it up and you go and have a nice dinner, you go to counseling, whatever else, you're always looking at that person out of the corner of your eye. You're always wondering whether they could say or do something like that again.
Someone cheats in the relationship.
There's an innocence that's lost in the relationship, and you never get it back. You never get it back. Right?
So, with your experience, you've been through quite a bit.
Right.
Sorry, guys. I've encountered some women in my life, and some of them have had experiences with ex-boyfriends that have been pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand fully how a human being can act that way.
Right.
But over a period of time, obviously things change. You learn from experiences, but there's also this residual, which we're talking about, right? So for the next guy that comes along, what I'm talking about is me. You're kind of dealing with that luggage.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can say things that are taken totally different.
Well, they could be triggers, right? Like PTSD is a real thing,
and
right?
That's what I'm saying is I know this person isn't crazy, but sometimes she acts crazy.
Or the trauma could be. I mean, this is where the open dialogue comes in, and love and compassion are really, really powerful tools. So your gut will tell you. You'll know if someone's triggered by something or something bad has happened to them. You can sit down, you can chat with them. There can be that loving discourse, right?
So that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. And I do mention this, but there are.
Get squirrely. Do I look back and go?
There's a checklist of things. Once you've done all of these things, and if it's still not helping, at some point for your mental health, you got to walk away or run away.
Or Uber.
Not just mental, but financially.
Yeah, you got to walk.
Mentally, financially.
Because you never know, you might end up sharing a biological seed with this person.
This is where biological warfare. Yeah, this is the thing, is that the kids always get caught in the crossfire. I was advised by 5 different men who had been through court proceedings, and all of them said, don't go to court, don't fight it, just walk away. And I said, no, because this is what's going on, and I'm going to fight for my child.
What you're doing is actually fighting for your child.
I'm fighting for my child. And what I realized after the whole situation was that I wasn't fighting for my child, I was fighting for the pocketbooks of many lawyers. And I was actually just continuing the argument that relationship was. It was so in some sick, twisted way for the ex, because our relationship was such a horrible relationship, it was just arguing and just nastiness all the time. Putting it out into a courtroom situation now was just her way of extending the relationship. Yeah. As long as she could still have the contact, we could still have that, because this is what fueled her. Yeah. And if you look at her mother, it's the same thing. Like the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Her mother's like that too. Anyway, I have a lovely piece about her mother in this. But the fact of the matter is, is that it's not normal and it's not right. Right. So the kids are essentially, they always get hurt. They always get hurt. I only know of one situation whereby two parents couldn't get along, and they both decided, okay, look, let's not drag the kids into it. They moved, they live on the same street. The kids go back and forth between both parents, and the parents handle it like adults. And it's cool. I know one situation. Every other situation, you go to court, you fight for a year or two, the lawyers make tens of thousands of dollars, and the court imposes a system on you that you probably had in the first place, and everybody's laughing on the legal side of things, and you're going, what the hell did I just do? And the kid is torn because mummy and daddy are ripping each other to shreds. So,
and then all of a sudden you've got a child that's growing up with that as a normalized environment.
There we go. And then welcome to the cycle repeating itself.
So I think you started off the book with if I had a flux capacitor, which I've seen Back to the Future.
Yeah. Was a flux?
Yeah, that's what makes time travel possible.
Yeah. So
according to Spielberg.
If you could go back in time to you before you slept with this woman when you impregnated her.
Yeah.
And you had, I don't know, a minute and a half to talk to yourself.
Right.
What would you say to yourself?
Wow.
Because this experience brought you this book and all those chapters that kind of flew together.
But
right?
That's the $1 million question, right? In hindsight, I'm happy how my life.
Hindsight,
right.
You've got to be able to.
But if I went back in time now, and this is hard because obviously I have a child. Yeah, I have a child through this woman who I love and worship the God. Right. Yeah. But so on that side, I'm glad that it happened because I have that child. But if I could go back in time, and I do have this conversation, but I would speak to myself and say, leave now before shit gets real. Leave now.
So if I'm you at that age.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck's happening? You said you came here in a flux. You seem like you might be a bit crazy.
But this is where alcohol comes into play. I'll buy you a beer or two, and say, sit down, and I'll say, this has happened already. That's happened already. This has happened already. Where do you think this is going? Do you think she's going to stop? Do you think she's going to calm down?
So you pull it all back.
You say, yeah. What do you think? It's what does it feel like? How did she make you feel when she said and did that? That's a warning sign. When someone hurts you, you might not notice the first jabs or the first things that are negative in a relationship. You might be infatuated. The person might be hard, like whatever else. You might be having fun, but the odd little sarcastic comment comes out. The little stuff that comes out, the first little put downs and stuff like that. You don't notice it, but you feel it. It's like, oh, that wasn't right.
So that's a gut feeling.
You got to go with your gut certain ways. You've got to go with your gut. The idea in any part of your life is for the head, the heart, and the gut to be in alignment. Once they're in tune, life becomes pretty simple.
It seems to come back to the gut feeling, though. So what?
It's an aspect.
Before you went to court, your friends spoke to you, or guys that you knew, and they all explained to you, and you were like, "No, I'm going to go fight." What did your gut feeling tell you?
Not to. I actually said to my lawyer, "What happens if I just concede? I just concede to her terms."
That's my
and my lawyer basically said to me, once you do that, it's final. You can't go back. So it was a fear situation now of like,
because
basically it's showing a sign of weakness. The opposition would ask for more.
To do with the system.
No, it's the system. The system's not flawed. The lawyers do what they do. The league. I mean, I'm sure there are situations. Yeah, I'm sure there are lawyers who do, there are lawyers who do great things using the legal system. But in this situation, I spoke to so many men who spent tens of thousands of dollars
I know a few.
on absolutely nothing, right?
More.
I've heard that the large one I have up to $70,000 in court, right? To have exactly the same schedule that was before.
That kind of money though. So when you sat down, did you have 10 grand sitting around?
A lot of my savings went, and then
Which was your
yeah,
future,
yeah,
which is now going to have a child involved in it.
right,
And
yeah.
you're starting out
A lot, yeah.
negative.
Savings went. Then it's lines of credit. Then it's,
That's what I mean. So
Yeah,
the
no,
whole thing is like a lose-lose.
yeah.
Because one way or the other, they're going to lose.
The lawyers win.
The question.
You're doing it for the child, but when you're financially ruining yourself that way.
Well, when you're in it, you're not. As I said, when you're in it, you don't see it. You're in the heat of battle,
Your gut
and you want to
feeling
win.
tells you something else,
Mhm.
which is
Just walk away. And I said that to the lawyer, and he said, "No, it's it's."
So the one thing we have learned is that your gut feeling, is a scientific thing.
Yes.
Second brain or third brain.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yes.
And so far in your situation, I can list off a million of my own.
Mhm.
So I'm just using it as an example. They've proven to be pretty solid
Yeah.
decisions.
And there are certain behaviors that are very, very telltale warning signs that something is not quite right with an individual.
So as soon as emotion gets involved,
Yeah.
that's when the water gets a bit muddy. Right?
Yeah.
And logic.
If you fall in love with someone or you're infatuated with someone, and you start not seeing things clean. I've seen it on both sides.
Oh, for sure.
Right? There's a situation where there's a girl that I knew, and turns out that her boyfriend was a complete and utter fraud. And when she couldn't understand why people were just shying away from this guy now, so we want nothing to do with him because he'd lied about certain things. When confronted with facts, she got ignorant and leapt to his defense. But we're confronting her with facts.
Yeah.
Right? Right? And not only irrefutable facts, but facts that the logical brain goes, oh yeah, how comes I didn't see that before? Right?
What's that called when you have those two things happening in your brain?
Well,
It's happening a lot right now.
when people are just delusional,
No, there's the contradiction going on in your head when you hold two beliefs.
mate,
You asking this question? Do you know the answer?
I'm trying to remember.
All right, come out with it.
What's that?
You don't know the word? What the word?
No, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
I
okay,
can't
okay.
remember.
No. You're confused. I don't know.
I want antibiotics. I have a tooth issue. My brain's not clicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holding two. Oh, you know what? You guys talk. I'm gonna look it up on my iPhone.
Yeah.
The other question I wanted to ask about the gut, if on a women's side, if they get quite emotional in the decisions they're making,
Mhm.
there's a different, it's got to be a different stat on that side because we're obviously built in two different ways where
I think.
Oh, cognitive dissonance.
cognitive
Okay, yeah,
dissonance,
yeah. I don't think that necessarily women are that different from men. We all have the same wants and needs as in the species, right? Human beings, yeah. So, I mean, women have an enteric nervous system. They have gut instincts too, right? There is probably a little bit of a different social conditioning there, right? You want women are told to have a man, who's stable, a good job or whatever else, as opposed to, hey, he might be the best thing since sliced bread and treat you like a queen, but if he's not got enough money, then there's a problem. Really? Well, what happens? So who cares if you've got a guy with bucket loads of money, but he treats you like
destroys your shit.
yeah, and ruins your self-esteem? Is that worth it? So you do, you look at all of these.
So it's kind of like a morality issue as well.
Yeah,
which is a losing battle.
But here's the thing: like you look at all these like wealthy businessmen, whatever else, and they're out of shape, they're ugly, they look like they're assholes anyway, and you see them with this lovely, gorgeous, trophy on their arm. You're like, bro, don't you realize she's not with you for your looks, man? Like
That's been around.
I know, but
So-
I personally ask, right? And this is the thing with regards to living your life for others to see or living your life to please yourself. Right? So, okay, great. So you especially you got like some guy and he's got this young dolly bird in his arm and whatever else, but people are just laughing. Most people are laughing.
Well, it's obvious.
Right? Exactly. And it's just like, this guy looks foolish.
But at the same time, has any guy ever said,
I don't want to be
that
that
guy
guy.
looks foolish. He's like a lucky bastard.
Yeah, but
I guess once you get older, you kind of like,
I don't know,
I'd
man.
be like, that's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work.
That's a lot.
You don't.
You got into some naps.
I don't know, man. If you're like that, you don't think Pedro the Gardener's getting a little side action, man? You know,
Oh, well, that's a different story. We're talking about gut feelings.
right? Yeah.
Well, I'm napping, whatever. Oh, I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, right? Okay. Yeah. Shopping with your girlfriend. So, okay, man. Yeah. At the end of the day, man, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest with other people. But yeah, I choose to live a life that's true to me, right? And true to my happiness and true to the happiness of those around me, namely my family. And normally, you know, the easiest way to a point is a straight line. And if you cut out all the bullshit, you cut out all the media, all the noise, and just center yourself and focus, and you're quiet in your mind, you're quiet in your heart, and you look at something, the truth will reveal itself.
Did
Right?
you find that through religion, or did you find that just through personal?
Self-actualization.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
It's similar to what I've heard through religion.
I completely shocked the opposition when I finally conceded the court case. They wanted to go to a trial and all the rest of it. I'm like, this is nonsense. This is going nowhere. And I don't. And all I
Fast,
yeah,
slow,
And I said, you know what? We can go to trial. We can go to trial, because I had so many jabs set across, like absolute lies and stuff said about me in the whole court process for them to win the case. And I said, I don't really care what the judge thinks. I don't care what the people in the courtroom think. I don't care what anyone thinks right now. I said, because I know the truth. My wife knows the truth. My daughter knows the truth. God knows the truth, whatever you perceive him or it to be. Yeah. The universe knows the truth. I don't need to prove anything here. So I said, yeah, we can go to trial. I said, I'm not going to call any witnesses. I'm not going to defend myself. I said, you can waste your money. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to listen to you badmouth me for however long you want to, and you can go ahead and you can do it. And you can pay for it, because I fired my lawyer. Right? I fired my lawyer. So at this point in time, it's just my time. Yeah. All right. And I'm like, go ahead. We can go for trial after trial after trial, and you're going to pay every penny for it. And that was finally the end of it.
So you didn't have to pay for it by paying her back, did you?
Does the court system work that way?
No. I agreed to terms. So rather than being forced into terms. Yeah. Right.
So sometimes
that must have killed you.
The courts don't look down on a mother as being a breadwinner, right? So when you're in a situation like that, in settlements and stuff, it's a costly procedure. I guess. Yeah. I'm just
Yeah, as I said, every guy that I spoke to, don't do it. You know, unless I mean, in my situation, there was abuse. My child was abused by my ex, so I had no choice, as I thought, but to fight. And
these allegations are
no, it's
you have to say allegedly.
No, the pictures are there, right? I know she's lying. The judge believed her, and I was like, wow, okay. And
so a judge believed her over you and your daughter and the evidence.
They
kept the child out of it.
The abuse was to, well, my daughter was physically assaulted, but the abuse was to my younger son. And when he was interviewed by the police, he basically denied anything was wrong. So I asked him, I said, well, why didn't you tell them what happened? And quote unquote, he was young at the time, like 4 or 5, didn't want to get mum in trouble. Actually, the quote he says, I know that when people are bad, the police put them in trouble. I went, okay, fair enough. He's protecting his mother. He's a child. He's protecting his mother. And she knew that. And I found out later, she said, if you say anything, they're going to take you away from me and all the rest of it. So, you know, messing with a kid's mind, that's really admirable. But anyway, so it is what it is. And yeah, unless you got to fight for the well-being of a child, do it. You got at least with things being exposed, she couldn't hurt him again, because if she did, people would be looking now. Yeah. Right. Because so it was worth it for that. Right. So, but if it's just, if you're fighting over custody arrangements and who gets the kid on the second weekend and who gets the kid on this Christmas or that Easter, stop wasting your time. It's an absolute waste of time. You can go to mediation, and mediation is often smarter. But the trouble is that when you get mediation,
you concede to whatever they decide.
Yeah, and also there's something to be said, and some people like a court ruling because it's kind of set in stone right next to the 10 Commandments. A court ruling is the word of God. Like, you can't mess it up, right? So some people like that stability. But my advice is to not bother. If the child is in no danger, actually, my advice is to grow up. First of all,
yeah.
I mean, it's very hard. It's very hard if one party is using, and this is what happens. So I call the chapter biological warfare. Is when all else has failed in trying to get your attention, and all else has failed in trying to hurt you. The last weapon to be used is the child, and it invariably happens. And the court battle is the normal playing out of the situation. But there are instances that I talk about in the book where, bad stuff happens to kids. Just to get, I mean, I'll give you an example. One father knew that his daughter was allergic to talcum powder. So it basically put talcum powder in her diapers and returned the daughter to the mother. So when the child came back, she would deal with the inflamed, upset toddler. What kind of sick bastard does that to his own child? Right? It goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm talking about. It's like how to avoid your future crazy ex. I'm not talking about regular people who had a bad day. I'm talking about someone who's willing to go to the lengths of hurting their own child to prove a point to somebody. Mm-hmm. That's crazy, right? And hopefully this book will save a lot of people a lot of heartache, a lot of court fees, and a lot of hassle in their life. Mm-hmm. Right? There's also there's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of fish in the sea.
There's also plenty of crazy.
So Nick, we're at that hour. We're actually past that hour spot.
Nick Simon.
Where can we purchase?
It's on Amazon. I released it through Kindle. So Amazon.com, Amazon.ca.
What's your links?
So how to avoid your future crazy ex is the search function. The website should be up within a week or so. So we've also got a YouTube video. Just type in how to avoid your future crazy ex.
Oh, so you are on YouTube?
Yeah, there's on YouTube. And
what about Audible?
Audible's coming out probably the beginning of next month. That's yet to be recorded.
Are you recording it?
Probably not at this point in time. Yeah, I could do it, but I've got a really good voice guy to do it. So Amazon.com.
I guess I'm biased since I'm Canadian. I always like English accents.
Yeah.
You can't have
It's a great picture of you on the front, by the way.
Thank you.
You look petrified.
Yeah, the actress was amazing in that shoot.
Very well, man. For everybody out there, this is not a podcast to bash. Once you get into the book, you're going to kind of acknowledge exactly what we're talking about here. We only have an hour to really talk about the book, but there's so much more in the book, male and female, that you can both probably just look at and take your own notion from it, get your own ideas from it, learn from it, and literally avoid your future crazy ex.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Me too, by the way.
Could be you too. Yeah, you never know.
You seem pretty normal to me.
Boring. Well, thanks so much for coming by.
Yeah,
More importantly, what's our handles on social media?
Handles at The City Podcast on everything. The City Podcast on Facebook. You can catch us on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, all those good stuff. Spotify will be coming this fall for everybody. We're just in negotiations with them right now, but we'll talk to you guys all about that later on. Thanks for the comments, everybody. This is great. We love you all. Thanks for the follows.
Thanks for all the support.
Keep up with the emails. We got some pretty interesting guests coming up in the next couple of weeks that you're going to like, including this one. How to meet your future crazy ex is what you want. No, how to avoid
your future crazy ex.
Part of the post.
Thanks, man. It's a City Podcast, and we're out. Peace.